Good morning, boys and girls. Today is story time with Koontz. We have a cool chapter book here about a little prayer and a giant prize. Who wants a life that's just plain ordinary? Wouldn't you rather have one that's filled with adventure and excitement and lots of fun? Well, as it turns out, that's just the kind of life God wants for you, too. And it's a kind of life that He promises each of us, and it doesn't matter how young or old we are. God has something incredibly special for everyone starting right now. As a young man, and a young woman, I loved God, but I wondered how I could serve Him better. I wasn't sure what I wanted to do in the future. Maybe you know how that feels. Some days, I might think I would be something like NFL quarterback or perhaps a ballet dancer. On other days, I might imagine myself in a missionary trampling through the steaming jungles. When you're young, you dream all kinds of possibilities, but when it's time to really choose which way you want to go, that's how I felt. I should be doing something with my life. What should I be doing? How can I be more and more toward God's goal and not mine? At that time, a friend said, "Do you want something bigger and greater in your life?" Of course I did. That's when my friend introduced me to this guy in the Bible. His name is Jabez. He started with one short line in the Bible in 1 Chronicles 4:9. That's how it goes. Now Jabez was more honorable than his brothers. So then my friend explained how this ordinary guy, Jabez, prayed that he might be more and do more for God. And remember, that's what I wanted too. So my friend finished saying that God granted Jabez his request, and that was the end of the story. Pretty short story, don't you think? And yet, somehow I knew it was a really, really big deal. Right then and there, I decided I wanted to be like Jabez, like this guy. I wanted to live a big life too. So I decided to find out more about Jabez for myself. So I opened up my Bible and I read all the verses about Jabez. It said, "Now Jabez was more honorable than his brothers, and his mother called him his name Jabez, saying, because I bore him in pain. And Jabez called on the God of Israel, saying, Oh, that you may bless me indeed and enlarge my territory, that my hand would be with me, your hand would be with me, and that you would keep me from evil, that I may not cause pain." So God granted him the request in 1 Chronicles 4:9 and 10. To tell the truth, at first Jabez seemed a lot like a pretty regular guy, kind of like me and you. But at the same time, I could tell that God had done something really big in his life. I slowly read again the prayer of Jabez and then prayed that very short prayer, only 4 lines. For some reason, it stuck with me like glue. The next morning, I prayed the little prayer myself, word for word, just as Jabez has done so many years ago. And then I prayed it the next morning too, and next, and the next, and the next. 30 years later, I still pray that little prayer. It is amazing how this prayer has made what this prayer has made, and I could have had an ordinary life, something much, much more now. I know I can do the same for you, because I know God is just waiting to give you more and more and much, much more than you've ever thought to ask Him for. So let's just be and just ask like Jabez did. We'll continue the rest of the story next week. Love you. Say, yeah, wave. Yeah, wave your nose. High five. Yes, good job.